What up, War Room Nation? Welcome to this special episode 254 of the greatest podcast since Al Gore invented the internet. In this episode, we finally put to bed Deflategate, and just pretty tired of talking about it, but we talk about it for the last time. And we also break down the conference finals that are coming up. This is a special episode 254. Those that know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. Those that don't, that's on you. But again, 254. Peace.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, Black Commander. To you, how you want it in the 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topics, sort of like some rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th, or the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
Our theme music go hard.
What up, War
Room Nation? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the WRS Podcast Network. I'm Devin McMillan, and I'm back at the round table with my partners in crime, Jimmy the Blueprint, B. Austin. We got a great show for you guys today. Roger, a.k.a. Thor Goddell, brought the hammer down on Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. The second round of the NBA playoffs is full of drama and buzzer beaters at that. Members of our beloved Fab Five are beefing publicly, and we'll discuss all of that and more. So keep it locked in the War Room. And if you want to get in on the live conversation, just join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/the War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 30 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at 323-410-0012. But before we get started, it's our duty to steer you to the plethora of great shows on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. So when we're not live on the air, or if you're not listening to us on any other medium that you listen to your boys, make sure you go to warroomsports.com, click the WRS Podcast Network tab, or you can listen on the War Room Sports mobile apps or on iTunes. You'll find some of the best shows, sports and non-sports, that the internet has to offer, such as the Broad Street Line with Roy and Chris. Shout out to those brothers. After Further Review with the Mayor, the Tissue and the Tape Hip Hop Show with Phil and Savad, Sports Trap Radio with Brandon and Anthony, Hoop Girls Radio, Bump and Run for all you NASCAR heads out there, and the Mad Scientist Sports Lab, and a few other things at that. You can also check the listings over at fatsradio.com. That's PHATZ radio.com for airtimes of all your favorite WRSPN sports shows, just the ones that are about sports, including our show, The War Room, which airs over there a few times per week. Fellas, y'all ready to do this?
Like Brutus, and you always knew this.
Ha ha! Yeah, boy!
Peace! How low can you go? My bad.
All right, so
Chuck Boy saw it.
not much happened this week outside of sports, except for that horrific train crash outside of our beloved hometown, Philadelphia. Prayers up to everybody that was affected by that crazy situation, man. But let's jump right into what's happening this week in the world of sports, our domain. Jimmy, why don't you tell everybody what happened this week while they were on the grind?
Absolutely. And On the Grind, While You Were on the Grind, is brought to you by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, which includes the NFL Sunday Ticket, go to our website, which is warroomsports.com. Click on the DirecTV logo and order a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. We got the hookup. And if you are a sports fan, you got to have DirecTV so you can watch baseball, basketball, NASCAR, boxing, football. It's all on DirecTV, and that's warroomsports.com. Click that logo. Now, first story, gentlemen. A woman considers dropping out of veterinarian school to become a model because LeBron hit the like button on her photo. Well, I know you brothers got to have some thoughts about this, yo.
Yeah, because we talked about this last week but when we talked about it then, we were mostly talking about LeBron and him breaking his vow of silence on social media during the playoffs. We had to turn our focus to the young lady for a minute because She said LeBron's like on her Instagram photo was like a gift from God, and God is now telling her that she should be a model instead of continuing in vet school like she's already been doing. This is no, y'all were right. She's definitely a JoJo candidate for the week. She's also a Richard Rider of the week candidate as well.
And that's new. We rolling that out.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is the society that we live in, though. This is how much quote unquote attention means to people in their lives. I was having a conversation earlier today with my wife. We were talking about the Kardashians and how, they kind of get a lot of hate, even though they get a lot of attention. But when you think about it, it's one of those don't hate the player, hate the game type situations, because our society allows folks to get rich for absolutely no reason at all. You don't have to have any talent. It's just because we can't turn our eyes away from a train wreck or whatever. But the way we react in society allows people to do stuff like the Kardashians are doing, but then we want to turn and be upset with them because they're exploiting, the flaws in society. Don't hate them for it. I mean,
hate is nothing but misguided love. Hate is nothing but misguided love anyway. I like the fact that she used the slave master's religion as a way to try to make this excusable, because a lot of times when you do that, people don't say anything because you start bringing religion. God told me. If she just said this was a sign I should do this, she would have got roasted a lot more. But when she brings in God and all that, then what are you supposed to do? But it's definitely despicable. I mean, it is the world we live in. We live in a world full of Koloffs, but we're cut from a different cloth. So I just find it easy to just diss people.
But Jim, my thing is this. My thing is if you're looking at this as an opportunity, if you see an opportunity to maybe get out there and try to be a model, why stop what you're doing? Why ruin your plan B if the whole modeling thing doesn't work? Finish doing what you were doing. Try to pursue your modeling career because you got a like on a photo, and always have that to fall back on. Don't just drop everything you're doing and then you're out there. You're out there in the ocean without a boat. It doesn't make sense to me.
The world we live in. She fails. She gets a reality show with her trying to come back to be a veterinarian.
I thought that Jimmy would point to the one of the contributing reasons to this type of behavior.
Oh, her father,
which is lack of dads. As beautiful a spectacle as this young lady is, and she is everything that LeBron thought she was. If her pop was on his game, first and foremost, there's no way that she would have played herself in this manner. But beyond that, she's not above getting her hair weave yanked for putting this mess out and desecrating the family name, yo. So in honor of you, Josette, Latrice, or whatever your name is, can I tee it up, fellas? I don't really got much more to say.
You should be ashamed of yourself, the way you carry yourself.
Yeah, man. That's she also should get another award. She should get the Koloff Award, which is called the Key to Koloff Award, for those who don't know. You know what I'm saying? She deserves to get that as well.
Yo, but before we do that,
clean, Your Highness.
Yeah, because it's LeBron is God now. Anyway,
the Tatonka though.
That one, she gets that award too, B. Austin. Yo,
she gets the Tatonka though.
She leaving the winner of the whole night. She getting all the trophies.
Yo, she's cleaning up right now, yo. She like MJ at the Grammys back in the day. Yo, anyway, the toughest man in the NBA, who's a light-skinned dude that literally wears a conch, but he's the toughest man in the NBA nonetheless. He told James Harden's mom, yo, suck my Bozak, biatch. You guys can figure out exactly what he said because he didn't use those words per se.
You just said it.
And then later, found out it was Harden's mother and apologized and used the excuse that his mom died of cancer, so he would never disrespect anyone's mom like that. Although she could have been a mom before he realized it was Harden's mom. So, what do you guys first of all think about light-skinned brother with a conch being the tough man in the NBA and also his behavior?
Shows you that
First,
the NBA is in a bad
before
place.
you respond, yeah, it is. Before you respond to that, Dev, I just want to call Jimmy out because he is perpetually disrespecting both Zach Randolph and dark-skinned Jermaine by calling that dude that wears a conch the toughest guy in the NBA.
No, it's a
like,
different.
and I don't think that.
They're bullies,
Okay.
but like he literally like goes out his way. Like he has a whole different personality. Like he's an enforcer on their team. Like Zach Randolph is still nice and will give you 20 and 10, but he just don't take no ish. Yo, Matt Barnes is literally a paid enforcer. That where's the conch?
but dark-skinned Jermaine I got dark-skinned Jermaine in a fight.
Possibly,
I do.
but he's still not like an NBA tough guy. Like he's a defender. Like when you watch Matt Barnes play, he does like some of the things that the older
He does
tough
goon.
guys say.
He does goon
Yeah,
stuff.
he does goonish.
John-
Yeah, he goony.
Like John
Yeah,
Chater would
goony.
say, he's a goonie, man. He hits an occasional three, but he's out there to like bother people. Like you watch him. Like the other day, he was calling Dwight all kinds of 4-letter words. Like he's a tough guy.
But that doesn't
I don't know if
qualify him
he's
as
I
a
don't know
tough
if he's
guy.
tough.
Well,
I don't
Well,
know
could
if
be
he's
he could be a
everybody-
fake tough guy.
He acts like a tough guy. Put it that way.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
soft dudes
sarcasm.
call Dwight names.
Yeah, I mean
Dwight
called the white names. No, but the whole thing with James Harden's mom, it's disrespectful on every level. I heard what he said afterwards, and he kind of went into something that I agree with. Like fans, will come out there and say anything to you, and you're not allowed to say anything back to them, and they have to realize that you're human. I get that. I understand that. And even if you are 100% sincere in saying you didn't know that was James Harden's mom, 9 times out of 10, a woman that age is somebody's mom. So for your excuse later to be, I would never disrespect anyone's mother because my mother died of cancer, like that didn't really make any sense, because like I said, 9 times out of 10, this woman is somebody's mother, whether you know that she's James Harden's mother or not. And as Jimmy kind of alluded to, like he threw the whole cancer thing in there, I think, to kind of flip the tide and start to receive sympathy himself, so people can kind of forget that he told somebody's mother to lick on his Johnson. So it's one of those things where, a part of what he said, you understand that, but at the same time, he's kind of grasping, he's reaching, he's trying to throw every excuse at the book so you can forget about the egregious thing he said to somebody's mother and kind of sympathize and empathize with him a little bit. But I don't know.
Man.
I think James Harden looks the worst. James Harden looks the worst in all of this.
Okay, all right.
I would have taken the suspension the next game. I'm either taking a suspension or I'm giving them 50 the next game.
Because you read the
gave
story,
them
he didn't
25
step to him at all. Like he knew he didn't
Now,
say anything. It was his
y'all
brother.
got
He's
that
a no.
out of the way, yo. James Harden is the JoJo out of all of this, because there's no way that he doesn't whoop or attempt to whoop Matt Barnes' tail. Like there's
He
no
could at
way
least,
that
like,
I'm
jump
not.
in his face and waited for somebody to
Yo.
break it up.
Yeah, he did the NBA tough guy thing.
stuff.
Yeah.
And at the point where I realized that James Harden wasn't going to get 50, wasn't going to get 40,
It's time to
really
take the
wasn't going to
suspension
get 30,
and wasn't going to win the
it's
game.
time to take this. Yeah,
Pretty much.
he had Charlie.
You have to.
He had Charlie back.
Hey,
He's
let's move on,
embarrassing.
man.
He
'Cause he got
He's
a
embarrassing
conch,
to
so-
the beard gang in this situation, man.
Yeah, man. Fellow beard
Cut
gang
your
members
beard,
in
big.
trouble.
Yo,
Your
cut
man
your
Bray-
beard.
Your man Braylon
Harden
Edwards,
got to
man.
give it in.
Braylon Edwards was charged with extreme DUI in Arizona.
Yeah,
He
is
I
that?
don't even know what that is.
from drinking Long Island iced tea. My man said he had 3 Long Island iced teas, but he blew like a .21 on the which is
Damn.
double the limit. So,
Yo,
What's up?
he got like a super duper. Like they got names for it. He got a super duper DUI. Wrong with him. Yeah. But you said that was like twice the legal limit.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because remember back in 2010 when he was a member of the New York Jets, he was cited for a DUI, and it was it was a lot of backlash toward the Jets. You know, they were trying to pressure the Jets to suspend them for I think it was like a Monday or Sunday night game coming up, and they were trying to put pressure on the Jets to go ahead and do something about it. But you know, this is a shame, especially when it's not your first rodeo. Braylon Edwards, by all accounts, was a very, very, very good talent, and his career should have been much more than it ended up being. And I don't know if this played a part in it because, you know, we probably only heard about him getting in trouble with drinking one time, but that's just the times that you get caught. So yeah, it's one of those stories like, come on, man. Like, you're out of the league now and you still getting in trouble doing dumb stuff.
Yeah, what you think about this, B. Austin?
Braylon Edwards is a known serial noodle. So I'm not surprised by this at all. And one of the things that we talked about when he still was hanging on to his career by a shoestring was the fact that when you're in New York, and he played for the Jets and he has some alcohol problems, but when you're in New York, car services are prevalent. Like, it's almost not even cool to drive in New York unless you're driving something that draws an ignorant, inordinate amount of attention. So, like, unless you're going out in your Lambo, your Ferrari, your Maserati, your G-Wagon, not even a G-Wagon, like, it's got to be above $250,000. Why wouldn't you call the Lincoln Town Car Service, and then you can get as slushed as you want? You can pop pills, you can drink, you can smoke, you can do whatever it is that you do as your vice.
Yeah, but you know,
You have millions of dollars.
It's a disgrace, and I agree that you have to take better precaution. But a lot of these jokers, like, you know, it goes back to that thing we all suffer from, which is that male ego. Like, yo, I'm not drunk. I can handle myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, they in their mind, they really think that I'm doing nothing wrong. Because when you hear this story, the cops say that he was, like, very cooperative. He got out and told them, like, ain't nothing wrong with me. Like, he really in his head believed he was cool. So they gave him that test. And my man's numbers was off the charts. But but it's just an issue. You definitely have to do what you say, be awesome, and take better precaution. Just like, you know, if the play is safe, got to play it safe because, for one, you know you're going to be on the front page of the paper. You know what I'm saying? So, Braylon Edwards, man, you also get a JoJo award for just not playing it safe. He may be really suffering with an issue because I heard a lot of players reach out and say that they think he needs help. And for them to say that, they must know about his behavior that we don't see or hasn't been caught. Just my opinion, by the way.
Plus, you know, he's still of age where he could still be in the league. So I'm not sure if he's still pursuing that or not, but it's for some reason he's not in the league any longer and he's out here still getting in trouble.
That liquid courage, probably.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourself, the way you carry yourself.
Come on,
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, he allegedly spent about $82,594 of taxpayers' money on concessions at MetLife Stadium. My thing with this story is like, yo, how gangster are you? You know it's going to come out. Like, we live in an age of not complete transparency, but people will find this kind of information. This is information that's easily attainable. Yet he gave no Fs. What did you guys think about this story here?
Well, this is his situation. Of course, you know, as governor, he makes $175,000 a year, and in addition to that, he receives a $95,000 expense budget, and it's listed as an allowance of funds not otherwise appropriated and used for official receptions on behalf of the state, the operation of an official residence, or for other expenses. So, I mean, I think it's a situation. It sounds crazy on the surface because you're like, you know, the company that the card or whatever, you know, was billed from was the company from the concession stand. So you're thinking like, yo, what is he doing at the games where he has to spend this much money? It was like 56 different occasions, and he spent $82,000 plus. But if you look at the definition of of what the expense account is for, it could probably easily be justified because I'm sure he's probably sitting in a box, a suite or something. And if that suite isn't, the suite probably has a bunch of people. So every game, he's probably footing the bill for a lot of people, and it's justifiable because he's a politician and he can just say, these are donors we're trying to woo, or these are, something related to politics. So it's something that could easily be justifiable. But this is the kicker, though, fellas. They said, because this just tells you how much of a greedy bastard he is. And when I say greedy, I'm actually talking about food. They say he spent $360,000 from his state allowance during his 5 years as governor, but more than 80% of that money, or $300,000, was used to buy food, alcohol, and desserts. They said he spent like $25,000 at Wegmans through this whole time. So it's like,
Wegman
dude is like, look, the best way to entertain is through some grub. So it seems justifiable, but it sounds really crazy.
It's like even if you can justify it, like you're the governor of New Jersey, who literally has like two of the worst cities in the entire country. You can't be doing that, yo. Like, even if you could justify a lot of things, but they still shouldn't be done, is what I'm trying to say. And he should definitely be ashamed of himself, man, because while you out there, and the thing about it is you're the governor. So if you're in the suite and you're like, yo, you're out of control, this stuff is going to be reported.
He in the suite making it rain off the expense account. He in there making it rain.
Taxpayers' money, and they're like, yo, meanwhile, schools are closing. You got people who can't even, feed themselves. So even if you could justify it by saying these things, it still shouldn't be done, man. Like, yo, it's a disgrace.
But
no, that makes a lot of sense, Jen, because you're like, if you're whining and dining all of these people, like, where's the policy? Like, what's coming out of it? What's helping the state? With all the problems that you just named.
He was fundraising. Yeah. You gotta spend money to make money. He was fundraising. This Bush League, and I'm definitely going to take the time to take shots at him just as everybody else is. But for real, understanding the political system, this is really a non-issue. All types of stuff like this happens with campaign finance. All types of stuff like this happens with funds that are earmarked for things like this. So I think this is a case of really the anger should be placed on the game, hate the game, and not the player. He's just playing the game. They all do
that's
this.
Partially true, but if you follow his career, he does a lot of this. He does a lot of this. He
does.
Bully,
he takes his sports serious.
Not even talking about that. I'm talking about the way that he spends money, the way that he tries to bully, and I'm just saying in general, there are a lot of things that could have been done with that. Like, just because you can justify it legally doesn't mean you should. And that's taxpayer dollars, so it's a little bit different than like his campaign contributions and money earmarked that way. But it's just a disgrace when you see what's going on in his state that he governs.
Right. And afterwards, the New Jersey Republican State Committee paid back the state treasury in 2012 for all the charges that he made at MetLife Stadium. So he spent it. The Republican State Committee paid it back. So like he said, he's going to do whatever they allow him to do. So
yeah, more or less, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of money on Grub, man. I assume they weren't ordering, bunch of hot dogs and hamburgers and chicken fingers. He was getting whatever the best stuff they have at MetLife Stadium.
Meanwhile, there's kids in Jersey who can't even feed themselves or have adequate books. But that's either here nor there, man. Before we move further and get into some real great topics and bring callers on, Dev, who is having a birthday, good brother?
No doubt. Birthdays are brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence, top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices, and financing options are available. Visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And when you speak to somebody, you make sure you let them know so you can get that hookup that War Room Sports sent you. All right. So birthdays today, having a birthday.
It's my birthday. Yay!
Yeah, having a birthday today is Eddie House, who turns 37. Journeyman shooter off the bench. That's what happens when you start busting somebody's ass.
Yo, that's the greatest thing ever, yo.
Roy Halladay. Shout out to Brent Easley. You know why that shout is coming. Pitcher.
Cola.
Vashawn Leonard turns 42 today.
Ain't that one of your players,
Shout out
yo?
to Vashawn. FOH.
I'm
Shout
just
out
saying,
to Pooh
you used to
Richardson.
rap with Sean Leonard, Joe. Now you ain't messing with him.
Vashawn had a good career, man. Leave Vashawn
Okay,
alone.
I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm off that.
Pooh Richardson turns 49.
From the crib.
Shout out to Pooh from the crib, of course. PSP hashtag know what it means. Mark Jackson turns 49. There goes that man. Susie Colbert turns 51. And the great,
Susie.
the universally great, not universal outside of Philly, Mike Quick, wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, turns 56 today. These are your birthdays.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yo, you said only in Philly, though? You don't think Mike Quick gets national love?
Yo, I listen, Jimmy, when I left Philly and I used to talk about how great Mike Quick was, people would be like, who? Huh?
Mike Quick was the man here, and he did a lot of local media, so the fans in Philly love Mike Quick. He now works for, like, you know, Hershey Chips and whatnot, so Mike Quick is still that guy. But I guess you're right. Nationally, at that time, you talk about, like, that was Art Monk, Jerry Rice, so FOH. But anyway, those are the birthdays.
Yay!
Everyone out there, check out our website at warroomsports.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the War Report, our company newsletter. Click on the Contact Us tab to send a message about our company, our show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities. Or just try to join our network, because the network is amazing. For general inquiries, email us at info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click on the Memorabilia tab. You can buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click on the Blog tab. You can read all of our latest articles on our blog, which is called All's Fair in Sports and War. Click on all the respective icons. You can like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes. We're on Instagram. You can watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV, or click on the tab right on the website. The War Room Sports Podcast Network you can find right at warroomsports.com. If you want to have everything on the go, just go get our free War Room Sports mobile app, and you can have everything right in the palm of your hand, whether you have Android or iOS. Now is the time to join us in the JW Philly Realty chat room, which is at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, sign up for your free profile at Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to do that, you can sign in through Facebook or Twitter, and I know everyone has one of those accounts. While you're at it, click follow. That way you'll get updates and reminders about our show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook and Twitter starting right now, and our chat room is open. To call in and speak with us, you can dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline, and that number is 323-410-0012. Again, that's 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk, and, we'll bring you on and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Good brother, you ready to jump into these hot topics?
Oh, man, it's time for the hot topics. But before we jump into the hot topics, Jimmy, let them know about one of our most esteemed sponsors and advertisers. I think this is your favorite sponsor.
Absolutely. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm about Audible. And if your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audiobooks and kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. All you have to do is visit Audible. You can sign up for your free audiobook at audibletrial.com/warroomsports. In no time, you can listen to the latest bestsellers, hands-free, stress-free, while getting other things done. I'm into so many books right now. The one I'm enjoying is the biography, Condoleezza Rice.
Wow.
Learn a lot about her and about her thoughts, and she's a very extraordinary woman.
Do you respect her? Yeah. Do you respect her a little bit more? She's not the female Clarence Thomas that she appears to be.
Absolutely, because you get her perspective on why she did some of the things she did, and so it's definitely a dope read.
Big.
Instead of just seeing what you see in news clips and also these biased media outlet, you get to hear from the horse's mouth, so to speak, what their thoughts were. So definitely a dope read, man. So shout out to the sister. But that's on Audible. You can get that free. And I mention this every time we do this ad. The greatest audiobook of all time is Mike Tyson. So for anyone listening, just sign up to get the Tyson book because there's nothing like it. It's the most amazing book I think I've ever read. Anyway.
No doubt. I'm into these hot topics right now. Brother, we got to talk about Deflategate and the Deflategate penalties. Our man Tom Brady suspended 4 games. The Patriots fined $1 million, and they lose a 2016 first-round draft pick and a 2017 fourth-round draft pick. Gentlemen, too much, too little, or just about right?
Well, first of all,
they hit him up. Hit him up.
Well, first of all, for me, I'm surprised. I'm not even saying whether it's too much, too little, or whatever. I'm just surprised knowing the NFL's track record with the New England Patriots. I'm surprised that they went that hard. If we're even this hard, even if you don't think it's that big of a penalty, I'm still surprised that they went this hard on the Patriots. I mean, we saw what happened last time with Spygate, how they kind of gave him a slap on the wrist and then swept everything under the rug, almost literally, because they burned the tapes. But in this situation, I think with everything that's going on in the NFL in the past 2 or 3 years, I think they had to kind of send a message no matter who it was. But I don't know. I think I kind of disagree with a lot of people who think that the Patriots absolutely got roofed, because I really don't think I do. I think in comparison to some other things, I think they may have gotten off a little bit easy. What do you guys think?
I think this is a culmination of all the things that they've done in the past, the reputation of Bill Belichick, the fact that the world perceives the NFL as coddling, protecting, and nurturing the relationship between the NFL League office and Robert Kraft's office. Too much, too little. I think that the 4-game suspension was a little much. I think the $1 million fine, not a big deal. I think losing the first-round draft pick is pretty substantial. I think that's a pretty substantial kick in the nuts. The 4th-round pick, not so much. The draft picks and the 4 games seems a little excessive. The $1 million doesn't at all.
So the draft picks and Tom Brady getting 4 games, you said?
Yeah, that's where I would say it's a little excessive. I think 2 games would have sufficed, and I think 1 draft pick.
Well, first off, I want to start this by saying that if my team wants to cheat next year to get a chip and then we have this kind of penalty, I'm with it. Go for it, guys. Don't let me down. Do whatever you got to do. So I want to say that, so Patriots fans, get your panties out of a bunch and stop trying to defend this cheating. They got caught. It is what it is. But in terms of the actual penalty, I think, B. Austin, what you said made perfect sense in terms of it being like not just about this, but about the behavior that they've showed throughout the years.
They got a track record.
Yeah, their track record. I think the first-round draft pick is a little harsh. But other than that, I mean, I really have no complaints with it. I knew they wouldn't. I kind of felt like Dev, like I didn't expect them to do anything. So by them doing this, it's something. It's a step in the right direction. But again, is this going to stop them next time they try to come up with something in the gray area to win games? Like, is it enough to prevent them from doing this?
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
no.
That's the issue right there. And I don't think it's over anyway. Like, I'm still waiting to hear something how it gets reduced to something. Like, I'm just waiting to get that. Waiting for that to scroll.
Yeah, they're definitely appealing.
Yeah. So
I mean, Tom Brady, he might not ever serve a game in this whole thing when it comes down to it. But for me, the reason why I don't think they absolutely got roofed is because I compare it to other situations. Like, First of all, Bill Belichick didn't get in any type of trouble, and that's kind of weird, especially because of the precedents they set. Now, I've spoken to a lot of people who say, well, Bill Belichick, they've come to the conclusion that he didn't know anything. And you remember, he threw Tom Brady under the bus when it first happened. Okay, granted. They also came to the conclusion that Sean Payton didn't know anything about the bounties going on.
I knew where you were going.
But they suspended that man for a year because they said, as the head coach, you should have control and knowledge of every single thing that's going on within your team.
Mm-hmm.
So how come Bill Belichick doesn't get that same, how come he doesn't get that same treatment? And by the way, if anybody's holding on the line and they want to talk about Deflategate, because that's what we're talking about right now. So if you're calling about anything else, we're going to have to hold off on that. If you want to talk about Deflategate, hit us up, 323-410-0012. Just press 1 when prompted, and we'll get you on the line and get your opinions about this whole thing. I think in some aspects they got off a little bit easy. Tom Brady was basically the example. Like, somebody had to be the example, and I think Tom Brady ended up being that person. But I don't think
he was a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're having an issue with deflated footballs, and I mean the quarterback, the Wells report seemed like it was purely based on conjecture. But at the same time, when you think about it, this isn't a legal matter. This isn't being tried in the court of law. So really probable, and the language that they use in the Wells report, probable, and he may have been aware, most likely aware. The kind of language that they use, that's really all that they need, because like I said, this isn't a court of law. So you don't have to prove anything beyond a reasonable doubt for somebody to get a conviction. If they think, if it's Wells' opinion that Tom Brady was a part of everything and he can't 100% prove it, it doesn't mean that he can't be punished. And I know it's a lot of people out there hearing that, and they're like, what are you talking about? But that's basically what it is. This is something that you cannot prove 100%. That's the whole point of the investigation. And if the investigation comes back and says, yeah, most likely this is what happened, and these are the parties that knew about it, then the NFL are within their rights to punish, the people who got punished.
So basically, what you're saying, the burden of proof wasn't that high. But with that,
right.
Here's the thing, right? the whole one thing I want to say is I learned a whole hell of a lot throughout this process about football. It's like I didn't even know, how they travel, how they get to the game, the fact that different quarterbacks have different footballs. Like, I got a whole education in actual footballs based upon this. So salute to the league and Tom Brady for giving me that education. But it's a whole hell of a lot to go through, like, for an advantage that can't be like I've caught a ball with less air, and it definitely is easier. But the amount of air that was being taken out of these balls, like, how big of an actual advantage could it have been for you to go through all this? Is what I'm saying. Now, no doubt it's an advantage, but for all this, like, it just makes me think, like, what the hell else are the Patriots doing that we just don't know about?
No,
I mean, they were
you know what?
Any small advantage, they'll take it. Any small advantage.
Yeah, that's true. Dev and I disagree about the severity of the actual cheating, and one of the things that I would like to point to is there are 4 other teams that were cited for doing the exact same thing, and it's common. It's almost like common practice for teams to deflate balls, to varying pressures to the liking of the QB. So this isn't, while the punishment comes because of who it was, this is widespread practice in the NFL. It's not something that is, a random, this is just something the Patriots figured out how to do. This is something that they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. How can we
even prove that it's a widespread practice? Though I believe that they did, we really haven't even proven 100% that the Patriots did it. So how can we prove that it's a widespread practice? Yeah, I didn't hear about anybody getting cited.
Jacksonville got caught.
Oh God, it must not be that big of an advantage.
It must not work. It must not work, right?
Yo.
No, but if you look at this though. back in, because this is another thing, because a lot of people out there, especially Patriots fans, they always say, they deflated some balls for one half or one game of football, and we all know if they got caught, then that's just when they got caught. That's not when they started doing it. Who knows how long they've been doing it? But here's something for you that might give you an idea. Back in 2006, before 2006, the home team supplied every football for every game. A committee led by Tom Brady that featured Peyton Manning, probably at that time and still the two most powerful men in the NFL that are, players. They lobbied to be able to have teams bring their own footballs to games because quarterbacks, like to break the balls in and all that kind of stuff. Nobody was saying we're going to deflate them illegally or inflate them illegally or what have you. But Tom Brady did lead that charge. And when that rule got changed in 2007, if you look at the statistics of the New England Patriots since 2007, they've been the best team in the league by far, and it was a drastic change of how much they fumbled the ball or how much they no longer fumbled the ball. So remember last week when we had Fred Perdue on and he was talking about, they had a guy by the name of Ben Jarvis Green Ellis who just never fumbled the ball. There might be a reason that Ben Jarvis Green Ellis never fumbled the ball. When the ball is a little bit deflated and you can squeeze it a little better, it's a little harder to take that out of your hand. And this is a benefit for teams, especially who play in cold weather, bad weather. And what do they do up in Foxborough? Damn near every week, even when it's not that cold outside. They're playing in bad weather. So this is definitely, in my opinion, a benefit. I mean, it's not the end-all, be-all. It's not like somebody's point shaving because they're betting on the game and they're actually, blatantly changing the outcome of the game. But I think it's an advantage that a lot of people are dismissing a little bit because it sounds silly. Like, are we like we said, are we really doing all of this because somebody took some air out of some footballs? It sounds silly, so people look at it as being silly.
So both the Vikings, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Carolina Panthers were both accused of ball tampering, which included deflating. Evidence also suggests that the Indianapolis Colts ball boys in prior seasons have been seen with ball needles hidden under their long sleeves. So Jacksonville, Colts, Vikings, and Panthers have also had issues with deflation of footballs.
So where is this information coming from?
That's the rebuttal to the Wells report.
Oh, that website.
On the website made by the New England Patriots, correct? So we don't, I mean, it's one of those things. You're going to point at other, like people always do. Like, well, they did it too. But I don't know. I mean, if these teams were, if these teams, like I said, if these teams were cited, it never came out until this rebuttal website or whatever. So maybe it was something that they saw, maybe not. Maybe they never proved that they actually did something. But if you see equipment managers walking around with needles at times that they shouldn't, then maybe they were reprimanded for that before anything more came of it. I don't know what the situation is. I'm sure other teams do it. I'm sure other teams do a lot of stuff to cheat. It just kind of bothers me how people just like to dismiss things because they think it's silly. And a lot of these people probably never threw a football in their lives, so they don't really understand, what kind of benefit this could give to you. I know if I had a choice, and I told you guys this before, having some experience throwing a football, I'd rather have some of the air taken out, and my reasons are because my hands are a little bit smaller. I don't know what Tom, his is probably weather related, but I'd much rather throw a ball that has a little bit taken off of it.
Yeah. Shout out to at Casey Mack, who's in the chat room. He says NFL sure knows how to stay relevant 12 months a year.
No. That's probably why they stretched the whole thing out so they can stay in the news cycle a little bit.
Yeah, we also got a call on line, Tobias. Let's get Tobias' opinion on this, man, because a lot of people this past week had opinions on Deflategate. Tobias, your Bulls are getting ready to go home. But what do you think about the Flickgate, though, man?
Well, I know I'll wait till y'all get the basketball so I get my rant of the century against my Chicago Bulls. But
we'll definitely get you back on then. We'll get you back on.
But the Flickgate, my thing is, the issue was Brady could just say he did it, whatever, taking a suspension. But I don't blame him for lying because guess what? That's a Super Bowl on the line. Everybody would have lied on that one. So I think the punishment was legit, and I won't be surprised if they take it if he doesn't get anything. Trust me, we all know he's not gonna get anything.
Hey, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think he would in the first place, but I think that's what the NFL is probably trying to do. They're trying to save face, or they're trying to send a message, knowing that the appeals process is either going to bump this down to 2 or bump this down to nothing in general. Brady's agent just basically went in on the NFL with his statements, and not really the NFL. He went in on Wells and his report, and then Wells kind of fired back saying, just because you don't agree with my report, it doesn't really give you the right to criticize me personally. And, I could kind of see where he was coming from with that one, because it wasn't just like, okay, these findings are untrue. Like, there was a lot of adjectives being used, like ridiculous and a frail attempt, and it got a little personal. And, Wells has been hired several times by the NFL to investigate things on their behalf. So a lot of people think that not the punishment, a lot of people think that the findings were already predetermined and he was going to stick it to the Patriots no matter what he found. So I don't know if there's truth in that, but he definitely took offense to the tongue lashing that Tom Brady's agent gave to him. So
you know what? I'll say this before y'all put me back on mute, before I go back to yell at my Bulls in about 30 minutes when you guys bring me back. Why would the NFL target them if, one, he's one of the most popular, well-known players, and they got a Thursday night game, national TV against the Steelers, with nobody else in the country doing anything? You really think they want to suspend him for that, to stick it to him? That's ratings, right. And that's a good – and I'll say this. The Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, if he gets 4 games, I don't want to hear any excuses from you guys this year.
No, I definitely understand. I agree with what you're saying, like, because there's a lot of people, but most of that is coming from, like, Patriots fans or anybody who has, any kind of rooting interest or any interest whatsoever in the New England Patriots. They're trying to say that, they were targeted, but I don't understand that either, because this has been the NFL's, like, golden boy franchise for the past decade or so. Tom Brady, like we said earlier, along with Peyton Manning, they're the 2 most powerful players in the league. I've seen at least 3 NFL rules get changed directly because of Tom Brady. I mean, the man tore his ACL, and now you can't touch a quarterback, like, anywhere anymore. He lobbied to change the rules on how footballs are distributed at the game, and then this happens in the subsequent years. So even if the Wells report isn't totally accurate on his role, everything just looks bad because, first of all, the person who is benefiting from this the most is the quarterback. So I don't understand how some equipment manager making $25,000, $30,000 a year would even have the gall to go out and doctor up a football without, getting those instructions from the most powerful quarterback in the league. That doesn't even make sense. If Tom Brady didn't say, I like the football like this, then why would these guys go out there and do that in the first place? It makes no sense. So for everybody trying to excuse Tom, I'm a fan of Tom Brady, but come on, you got to call it like you see it. For anybody trying to excuse him from the situation and just say it's a Patriots thing, that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yep, that's true.
Basically.
I'll go back on hold till y'all bring it back to yell at Tom Thibodeau.
We'll bring you back when we talk ball, because I know you got to say. I know you got some stuff to say about your Chicago Bulls, man. So we'll talk to you in a little while.
All right, see you.
We got a couple callers that want to talk basketball, but listen, what did you guys think about? You see Teddy Bruschi get all crazy because they were disrespecting Tom Brady?
I didn't even see it, but I can imagine the type of stuff you're about to tell us.
Yo, he was arguing with his own former teammite. what's the boy's name? Other the black guy that played with the Patriots as well. Worked for the
Troy
NFL.
Brown.
Linebacker?
No.
Linebacker?
No, offensive lineman. I can't think of it.
I know who you're talking about.
But
He's
anyway,
on the network as well?
Yeah, he's on NFL network.
Yeah, big fat boy, but his suits be nice.
Yeah, that boy. Yeah, exactly. That's the boy I'm talking about. He be out there.
Damian Woody?
Yeah, he be ragging on him with the suit.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Damian Woody gave his opinion. He basically said what Dev just said, like, come on, man. Y'all know he had something to do with it. Teddy Bruschi damn near came to tears. He went in on Damian Woody. He was like, you played with him. You know him. How could you ever question his character? Like, yo, he went like full church mode on him. He's like,
I hate Teddy Bruschi and everything he stands for.
But my thing is, like, yo, the Kool-Aid he had was different than everybody else. Like, they have a lot of Richard Riders, but Teddy Bruschi drank like a different type Kool-Aid. Like,
my man Teddy Bruschi played in the NFL all based on his mental and emotional ability to ride the Patriot schlong. It was all schlong ridery.
Yo, can y'all imagine, though, after he finished ragging on Damian Woody, after they went to a commercial or the show was over, he probably called Tom Brady like,
the royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Yeah, he definitely gets a Koloff award.
Yo, like, come on. But no, I mean, it's a lot of like layers to this whole Deflategate thing, and like B. Austin was saying earlier, as far as the other punishments are concerned, the $1 million, that's nothing for the New England Patriots. I mean, like we always say, you don't want to count another man's money, and like your man Dame say, you don't want to be a chatty patty. But but what you guys said is true. It's all about what you've been caught doing in the past, so you don't really get the benefit of the doubt. But I think the fact that they don't get roofed even more than they have, I think they are getting the benefit of the doubt, and they don't understand it. They're looking at it like, how dare you do anything to us? And they said they fully expected a punishment. They just think that the NFL went too far with the punishments. But that could be what we said earlier, though. The NFL might have did this just to look like the big cat on the block, knowing that everything is going to get reduced in an appeal. So, it might just all be for show. But this is like one of the most powerful franchises in the league, so they might not want to be the ones that you want to make an example of, because Roger Goodell's job is directly tied to, Kraft, because Kraft is one of the overseers, no pun intended, on the committee. On the committee of owners that basically come up with Roger Goodell's salary and, whether or not he's going to be the commissioner of the NFL or not. So we'll see how this all plays out. If it's an act with an appeal to come and an appeal that's going to be successful, or if this was legitimate and Roger Goodell really did try to roof the Patriots a little bit. We'll see if it gets personal, in the years to come, because Robert Kraft does have a lot of pull in the NFL. Tom Brady, though, fellas, do you guys think this tarnishes or taints his legacy in any way whatsoever? Because after winning this Super Bowl, a lot of people gave in and just called him the GOAT. Like, I don't know if any of you guys thought he was the greatest of all time or is the greatest of all time, but do you guys think that this is something that has the potential to tarnish his legacy a little bit? Like, I think, Hall of Fame is what it is. There's no way he's not going to be there. But there's an argument now about whether or not he's the greatest of all time. Do you guys think it tarnishes that?
Nah, not for me. I mean, we got to talk about public opinion, and in so doing, maybe you extend this question to encompass the casual fan. I don't know how they would take it, but there's so much going on in the news cycle, and this isn't really a huge story. I think it disappears after a while. But no, I don't think. Nah.
Well, if the suspension holds, it's gonna ratchet back up, because Tom Brady is gonna be on the sideline. Not even on the sideline. He's not gonna be there for their first 4 games. So it may die down now for the summer, but it's coming back. if the suspension holds, it's coming back. Plus, it's still the Patriots. And another reason why, because, I don't get into too many of the conspiracy theories, but another reason why I think it's not that big a deal and the NFL still might be going easy on them is because if you look at their schedule for the opening 4 games, like, tell me they didn't take it into account when they were doing the schedule that they might have to punish Tom Brady. Because remember, this has been going on since the week before the Super Bowl.
Yo,
so they knew they knew the Wells investigation was going on, so they knew that there was some way that they might have to save face and suspend Tom Brady and give the Patriots some kind of punishment. Look at their schedule for the first 4 games. Like, Garoppolo might come in there, lead them to at least a 2-2 split, and they're still right in the mix for when Tom Brady comes back against who? Against the Indianapolis Colts, the team that they met in the AFC Championship game, and the team that dimed them out about the level of inflation that the football had. Think about it, man. Y'all know I don't do this now. This is usually Jimmy's bag, the conspiracy thing.
I didn't put that much thought into it. Like, I'm like, damn, I didn't think of that.
Like, coming back to play the Colts. Like, come on, it's just a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Same thing with Greg Hardy. Like, he comes back after 10 games, and the first game they're going to play, I think it's like a Monday nighter against Carolina, against his old team that basically got rid of him. Come on, they set this up, man. It's drama. It's drama.
Well, like Casey Mack said, man, that's what they do, man. They stay relevant 12 months of the year.
They got Vince McMahon consulting with them about how to market their league. And Casey Mack in the chat room says Tom Brady won't be first ballot. Some writers will stick it to him. I don't think so either. Because I see so many writers who are actually defending him right now. There's a lot of sports writers who are going at the NFL right now. So I think he will surely be first ballot because I think they're going to want to send a message to the league when this whole thing comes back up in the future. I don't know. I think the writers are more on Tom Brady's side. Of course, there's a few of them out there who might be sticking it to him a little bit, but I don't think that'll be enough to keep somebody like that with the level and the amount of accomplishments that he's had. I don't think it's enough to keep him off of the first ballot. Like when I ask you guys about tainting and tarnishing, I mean more so in the court of public opinion because a lot of people. And Jimmy mentioned it. He said, or one of you guys mentioned it, saying that the casual fan might. I think that was you, B. Austin, talking about the casual fan. And that's true because they already took a poll of more than 500 people, and over half of the people did say that his legacy is tarnished a little bit. And
they don't know what they're talking about. The major sports in this country, sports writers, still have a heavy value in the control of the narrative. And so they also are very instrumental in how you're perceived, how you are, looking in your bid for the Hall of Fame, how your story is told post-career. Like the sports writers love dude. So I think they can write him. They'll write his history because it's his story.
Yep.
Get it?
And that's the thing. He gets love from them. So I agree with that. I don't think it's really going to do too much for him.
Yeah. If we're talking about the court of public opinion, though, the people who took that poll, B. Austin, that is their opinion. So, if it's tarnished for them and a good amount of the
championship, they're not going to care.
No. See, but that's the thing. This championship was supposed to be the one, you know what I'm saying, to erase Spygate. This was supposed to be the one to show everybody out there saying, well, the Patriots haven't won since Spygate. So this was supposed to be the stick it in everybody's face championship, and then a week before this one, another scandal pops up about this team cheating. So I think I can understand when people say that because I think the Patriots as a whole, in the court of public opinion, because everybody's not a sports writer and everybody doesn't get a vote, but, everybody has an opinion. I think his legacy, I think more so the Patriots, this era of the Patriots, I think that's going to be a little bit more tarnished than Tom Brady because people already had that opinion of them. They can't win without cheating, and just when they were about to prove you wrong, they were caught cheating again. So I think it'll do a little bit of something to how we, and I'm not talking about, us, I'm just talking about we as a people, how we remember these guys. I'm not going to totally say, it sounds far-fetched, but I do know he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and he's probably going to be first ballot. I don't see any other way as far as that's concerned. But, like I said earlier, fellas, man, before we wrap this up, I'm surprised at how Bill Belichick skated this whole situation. Because if you're a New Orleans Saints fan right now, you're probably pissed.
You're going ballistic.
You're probably pissed about this punishment that everybody thinks is so severe.
Robert Kraft put that phone call in.
They lost players for like 8 weeks. They lost a GM for like 8 weeks.
Jonathan Vilma lost his career.
Exactly, like dudes were getting. and think about it before we move on. Like, what do you guys think is worse, bounties, or See, I was about to lead the question by saying, like, tampering with the very thing that the game is bought. The game is basically played around. It kind of leads a little bit, but what do you guys think is worse, bounty or, tampering with the football?
I think bounties might be worse because, with bounties, you literally are, changing the complexion of the game. You're trying to hurt somebody. You know
I think, what I mean? But my opinion on that, but I think they're trying to hurt people anyway. They're just getting something extra in their check for it. I think they were out trying to do this stuff anyway.
Somewhat, but instead of just making a tackle sometimes, now you may go for someone's knees. You may start to play illegal anyway, just based upon trying to get that chicken. And the thing about it is, like I told you before, I agree with tampering with the balls makes it easier. But when you look at the numbers, and they actually gave those numbers out in terms of, now, of course, I don't know exactly what that means in terms of the ball in my hand, but the numbers were so minuscule. It was like you took it from 14.2 to 13.9. Like, it was just small. No, and again, they're reaching for any angle they can get, so I get it. But
I don't know, but when you're talking about PSI, it sounds minuscule because it's only like two numbers, but that's PSI.
That's why I just said I can't really tell exactly
I'm about
what
to
that
say,
means in your hand.
That's air pressure. That's not that minuscule.
But, when you talk about flat out, we're going to put something extra in your check for, taking my man's knees out, to me, that's still a little worse than messing with the ball.
No, I think...
Essentially, you're putting hits on people, man.
I think it's worse as far as humanity is concerned. but I'm convinced that these dudes are trying to do that anyway. That's why it's kind of different for me. But when you say what Jimmy just said, take his knees out, not just, get me a body, go out there and if this dude gets knocked out, then, I'll give you a couple $1,000. I think they're trying to knock people out anyway. But then when you take it to the level where Jimmy just said, and you're pointing out exact body parts, then I can kind of understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, the game is played around this little brown pill. You cannot tamper with the very thing. It may not be that great of a deal. You may not get that much of a benefit, but it just seems like from an integrity standpoint, to tamper with the actual thing that the game is based around, that just seems, I don't know, it just seems
I hear what you're saying.
It
still doesn't move me the same way as I'm putting a hit on somebody, because essentially you're putting a hit on somebody,
But at the end of the day, Jim, just like you
said
earlier, I wish my team would do some of this stuff.
I wish they do
especially
both.
If it's going to end up in a Super Bowl victory.
Put out bounties and take some air out the ball. Do whatever you got to do. But when you think about what the Saints did, some people could have got arrested for that. You paying for assault.
But unless you see some Hainsworth type stuff where somebody gets up off the ground and stomps you in your face,
I know what you're saying.
Or some Sue type stuff. Yeah, it's hard to prove because they out there trying to wreck each other anyway. But if you get up like Sue and you try to stomp a dude's kneecap, then they got all the evidence they need right there. They could have roofed the whole organization.
Yeah,
but I still think, New Orleans Saints people are probably, because if Bill Belichick doesn't get a year like Peyton, which I don't expect, he had to get something. Like, dude, you don't even hear his name come up in deflate games.
He's that guy, man.
Like, I think I'm the only person who's brought Bill Belichick up in the last 2 weeks. Like, people forgot.
Robert
damn,
Kraft,
he is the coach.
the argument between Kraft and Goddell is fake, man. Kraft put that call in. Listen, leave Bill out of this.
Do what you're gonna do. But he like, look, we'll sacrifice Brady, but not him. That shows you got the power.
Yeah,
he said, look,
plus he like, look,
Brady. I'm gonna give you Brady.
Like, look, we went 11-5 without Brady. We can do 4 weeks. We good.
I'm on the street, cut a deal with the Peruvians. Like, look, we take Brady for 4 games, but
Well, I got another football topic that I want to ask you guys about, and be also, being a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles, this directly, I wouldn't say affects, because I'm sure you don't give a damn outside of doing what we do right now. But LaShawn McCoy is in the news once again, and he's talking about Chip Kelly, and the implications are this time that Chip Kelly is a racist. He talked about how Chip Kelly got rid of, because remember at first he was just saying Chip Kelly doesn't like star players for some reason.
Tell him why you mad, son.
This time he said Chip Kelly doesn't like star players, but mainly, black players. So he added something to his quote this time, and it's kind of a big deal, because that's something
that's a heavy
serious
indictment
to put on somebody, especially if you don't know that for sure.
Yeah,
let me read you his quote. Let me read you his quote.
Is this a new one?
He said
Where's this one from? Where's this one from? This is new?
This is new.
Yeah, listen. This was an interview that he's doing with ESPN. I don't even think it aired yet. I think it's going to be maybe on like the Sunday Conversation coming up this week or something.
Okay.
Anyway, he said the relationship was never really great. Now, this is a whole lot different than what he was saying when he and Chip were there. He said the relationship was never really great. I feel like I always respected him as a coach. I think that's the way he runs the team. He wants the full control. You see how fast he got rid of all the good players, especially all the good black players. He got rid of them the fastest. That's the truth. There's a reason. It's hard to explain with him, but there's a reason he got rid of all the black players, the good ones, like that. See, he could have been on to something. He said Chip Kelly wants full control. And in my opinion, so far of Chip Kelly, I would agree 100% if you came to me and said Chip Kelly was a control freak. I think I know for 100% fact that he wants full control. He's arrogant. He believes that his system is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he can plug and play and do whatever he wants in his system. But I don't know. Throwing out stuff like this about somebody's character, that's a big accusation, man. What do you guys think?
There's a difference between what Chip Kelly's expectations are with regards to control and other NFL coaches. Like, the best NFL coaches are far more CEO than they are old ball coach, like your pop type deal. And Chip Kelly isn't one of those old, Jimbo Fisher, Joe Paterno type, I'm your dad type coaches, but he does come from a NCAA culture where, not really, I am kind of your dad because you are somewhere between 18 and 22 and I'm your pop. Like, you're going to do it my way or you're off the team or you're, and I get the sense that he's seeking personalities that will acquiesce to his demands and the way he wants to run his team from top to bottom. Look, at 9 a.m., you will drink a smoothie. That smoothie will have banana in it. That smoothie will have vitamin C powder. And at 10:15, you will be doing your high kicks. And, in the NFL, some guys are like, look, man, I work out on my own. I take this seriously. Look, as long as I know the playbook and I make the plays, leave me alone. And that's how he's different. He brings a college mentality. And so that rubs a lot of players the wrong way because I'm a grown damn man. I'm 40.
Right.
So it's like I think that's what it now when you bring race into the mix, there are so many things that are against Shady making that statement. It's nearly impossible for him to validate that, to substantiate it, and then stand behind it with his credibility intact. I am a LeSean McCoy fan. I like the good and the bad with him. Like, he's cocky, he's arrogant, he does dumb young boy stuff. I love it. Like, I like it. This one, yo, you done effed up now, brother. I think that he made a statement that is out of line, is out of pocket. He don't have to apologize for it because, hell, he's in Buffalo now. But you can't look at that roster.
Does he know he's in Buffalo now?
Yo,
I mean, because think about it.
Dad,
no,
mad.
because
he don't want to
go. Just like you, B, like, I'm a fan of his. I've actually defended him every time he was in the media talking about the Eagles, even though he doesn't play for them anymore. And it's been, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th time that he's been publicly, making big statements about the Eagles as a Buffalo Bill. I defended him up until this point. A lot of Eagles fans were saying, oh, he's a crybaby, he's acting like a little bitch, this and that. And I'm like, okay, this is just how football fans get when somebody's no longer on your team. You're taking the company man route, and now everything he say is this and everything he say is that, and he's just bitching. At this point, not even on a fan. Yeah, not even on a fan aspect. Like, I'm starting to lean towards that, and it's because what he's saying is getting more personal, and like you said, there's no way to substantiate the claims that he's not directly and blatantly making, but everybody know what he's implying in this situation. Now, I don't know Chip Kelly from a can of paint personally, and Chip Kelly can be the biggest racist on the face of this planet. But now this is how I get into arguments with sports fans and so on social media all the time. There might be some things that people say that I don't necessarily 100% disagree with, but what they use as their proof, you have to be called out on it. Like, I'm talking to somebody the other day about the whole Golden State Warriors thing and Klay Thompson and Allen being in his head, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, Allen is definitely strapping him up. And you say that, he's in this guy's head, but what you used to prove that was two extraordinarily bad plays that all of the media is blowing up by Klay Thompson, the one-footed three and the missed dunk on the same sequence. Like, that's your proof that he's in his head. Like, I might not disagree with you that this dude it could be somehow in his head, even though we can't mind read. But to use that as your proof, I can't ride with that. So it's the same thing with LeSean McCoy. I don't know. Chip Kelly might go home and call us all kinds of darkies and N-words and all that kind of stuff. But to say he's racist or to imply he's racist because he got rid of you, Deshaun, and some other players, that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because everybody he replaced y'all with, minus like Kiko Alonso, are black guys. Well, I think what he got rid of are nonconformists, people who are going to be running their mouth, making themselves bigger than the team. Think about it. Kerry Williams is one of those guys coming out talking about we practice too much. Deshaun Jackson, we know his history with coaches and how he can cop an attitude. LeSean McCoy, what he says sometimes might not be reckless and detrimental to the team, but he does make things about himself.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, he's a mean
guy.
I
think it's more so that stuff, and I think the only reason
one that didn't fit that mold.
But he didn't get rid of Jeremy Maclin. They just didn't bid what the Kansas City Chiefs bid on Jeremy Maclin.
Right,
so I think the whole basis of this whole thing, and the reason why LeSean knows he can say this and have people take his back, one reason, because Riley Cooper is still on that team. That's the only reason that there's anybody out here who might say, okay, LeSean McCoy might have a point. But I think what he's saying is ludicrous. I think he's gotten rid of me guys, and he's brought in, hey, whether we like it or not, because we're not all about that company man stuff, but whether we like it or not, that's what he brought in to replace guys who kind of are bigger than the team. So I think it's kind of.
I just want to say a couple things that most coaches that come in the situations try to replace, even if it's not guys who are me guys. They try to get their own players in. You see it all the time with quarterbacks. What happens, he's basically turned over that entire roster when you look at it. A lot of those guys were Andy Reid's guys. I mean, Macklin went as far as going back to his daddy. So he got rid of all those guys, and he's bringing in guys which would be considered his guys. So it's going to be his way. LeSean McCoy is hilarious because he started this a while ago, man, and I guess he's on some, like, in the words of my man Slim Charles said in The Wire, like, if it's a lie, man, we got to fight on that lie. Like, once you say it, no matter what it is, now you just got to stick to it. Like, my man ain't going to say I was wrong. He going to keep going on TV, keep going on the radio, and just fight on that lie. Like, they got to stop putting a microphone in front of his face, but at this point, like, he's going to give you something to say. Shady has always been that way. Shady has always been that way. I mean, I can't agree on him based upon what he said. Like, maybe he knows something I don't know. Shout out to Riley Cooper for doing what it takes to stay on the team, even though you're not one of his guys. But, you know, it's crazy because what's going to happen if you're a free agent and you're starting to hear this? Because it's not even just Shady. Like, Stephen A. Smith hinted at this too, where he talked to some other players and they're saying the same things and it's not Shady. I'm like, well, I mean, he was being a chatty patty because he didn't give no names, but what happens if you're
he talked to Shady. That's where he talked to.
That's probably what it was. He tried to insinuate it wasn't Shady, it was somebody else.
And he talked to Deshaun. I think Stephen A. Smith is the kind of dude who probably put this in their heads and then reported it like he heard it.
Yeah, I'm a man making news. Get reported news. I'm going to make news. Make my own news.
I mean, people do forget, like, he traded away the starting quarterback, too. He wasn't black. And besides that, like, Evan Mathis been on the hot seat. And they say Evan Mathis has been known to be, like, kind of outspoken. So, because you wonder, like, why are they so pressed to get rid of, Mathis, Harriman, cats like that?
My man, Chip trying to get it with nobody speak back.
Exactly. And I think that's really, I think that's the big thing. But I'm waiting to see, like, I'm wondering when Buffalo's going to call the ball. Not when the media is going to take the mic from them, Jim, because they're not going to do that because they get juicy stuff from them. I'm waiting for the day when Buffalo's going to call them like, yo, dog, you play for the Bills now. Like, let's get this together.
They asked his coach about it.
I'm gonna call it what it is. You hit us with the logic and the intelligent, politically correct. Chip Kelly ain't racist, man. Shady McCoy is emotional, man. He and I respect it. I understand.
You mad?
You mad, yo. You love playing in Philadelphia.
I wouldn't want to play in Buffalo either.
Harrisburg.
I get it.
He didn't want to go to Buffalo because it's cold, but he was a few miles from home where he grew up. Yo, he's mad. Yo, he is mad. He is scorned. He's mad. And this is what he's doing, like a mad chick.
I mean, he wanted to play here. He always said he was an Eagles fan growing up, and he wanted to play here. So
his dream, his dream come true.
Like his dream got shattered. Like somebody big punned on him. So now he all messed up, man. But the whole situation is funny because my man gonna keep fighting a lot. He gonna keep saying it as long as they put a camera in his face. At this point, he don't went too far. He can't say nothing else. And when they asked his coach about it, his coach was like, "Look, I don't tell my players what to say. He gonna do what he want to do." Like, and of course, his coach is Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan, like, look,
Rex Ryan, yeah. Rex Ryan just wants his players to like him. Rex Ryan don't care. Rex Ryan will probably pick up a microphone and crap on Chip Kelly with him just to get him to like
the same thing. He probably
this is WWE. For Rex Ryan is WWE.
Rex Ryan gonna call and give some inside information on why he is a racist.
He was say Shady.
He's gonna channel his inner Buddy Ryan and be mad that his pop not still there coaching, and he's gonna get on with Shady and poop on him.
All right, because I know we got some. Well, before we do that, before we go to basketball, I know we got Rob holding on the line from Cali, and he's an Eagles fan, so I'm sure he got a quick opinion on this. So let's go to Rob out in Cali. Rob, what's going on, bro?
What's up, man? You know why I'm here.
What's up, man? Beast mode. Yo, so I know you're an Eagles fan, man. Is your coach a racist? Speak on it.
I've been doing it, thinking about this a lot. Hold on a second, I got it. Oh, wow. I've been thinking about this a lot. When it comes to Chip Kelly, we got to remember racism is something we can't prove. I mean, racism, 80% of stuff we know, experience as racist, we can't prove. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say, that just happened to me a couple weeks ago. Let's say, you walking down the street, or you and your boys are walking down the street, and a group of white girls are walking down the street with you, and they stop and let you walk past them because they don't want you to walk behind them. That's type of racist. Now, for the players who feel that they're being treated different by Chip Kelly, I don't know. However, trying to say he's a racist, it just doesn't make any sense. The problem, I think it's bigger than racism. Hello?
Yeah,
the thing about Chip Kelly is he wants power, just like he had in college. Well, he has a bunch of college kids who are subservient to him and want to do everything he says. Guys like Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy are just not those dudes. And I've been telling people on the internet that the difference in my pops who coach all the way semi-pro told me, and even into the college ranks, there's a difference between coaching kids versus grown men. For him not wanting to deal with LaShawn McCoy or Deshaun Jackson, you have to look at, does he really know how to coach grown men?
I don't even know if it's a kid versus grown men thing. I think it's a difference coaching dudes who are playing looking for a check and dudes who are already getting the check. Like, once you start coaching dudes whose weekly salary is bigger than yours, a lot of people take on that attitude, like, I make more money than you. You can't tell me nothing. I mean, you can be my coach, but you're not going to be telling me when to do this, how to do that. And like you said, being from a college atmosphere, I think that's the kind of power he wants. That's the kind of stuff that might rub certain players, especially the star players, the wrong way. And I think that's why he got rid of him. I'm not condoning the fact that he came in and cleaned house of all the best skill position players that the Philadelphia Eagles had. I'm just simply saying that, if you're going to throw that accusation out there, you got to have something a little more than the fact that you just got cut and your boy got cut. You got traded and your boy got cut last year, because it doesn't make a lot of sense, because when you got cut, he brought in 2 black running backs. when Deshaun got, he got let go, they didn't do anything immediately, but their first pick was just a black wide receiver to replace Deshaun. So, like, the claim really doesn't have much basis, and that's all I'm saying. And I repeat, for anybody out there, because y'all know we got people out there like, oh, look at these guys. Chip Kelly could be the biggest racist on the face of this planet. But if all you have to substantiate that claim is the fact that you got traded and your boy got cut, then I can't ride with you on that at all until I see him do something that is beyond a shadow of a doubt, racist. So. And another thing, like people always want to bring up the Riley Cooper thing. People got to understand, the only reason why they kept Riley Cooper was because Maxson and a couple other receivers went down training camp. It's a new offense. He had to know a playbook, so they were forced to keep him. Second of all, if you want to blame somebody, blame Howie Roseman, because Howie Roseman overpaid him. It's like he overpays everybody. Which makes it a little harder to get rid of him now, because nobody's going to take on that contract for Riley Cooper. So, all right. So, hey, Rob, man, thanks for your call. We appreciate the support every week, man. You're looking out.
Thanks, B. Rob.
All right, Rob.
All right. One more. One more thing I want to ask you guys about before we get into basketball and we get Tobias back on the line for his Chicago Bulls rant. Man, our beloved Fab Five beefing right now. Not everybody, just 2 people. And, those 2 people are probably the most famous guys on the Fab Five, Jalen Rose and Chris Webber. Now, we all know that Chris Webber has basically been estranged from the program and from his Fab Five brothers for the better part of the last decade because of, some stuff that went on with the booster and, the fact that they got all of their wins. The fact that the Fab Five, besides our memories and some documentaries, the fact that they really didn't exist because all of their wins got stripped because Chris Webber lied to a grand jury. So here's the situation, because now it's getting public. They've already they've had their beef, but there was always nice things said by Jalen Rose. Chris Webber really never addressed anything, but now it's in the media. Chris Webber was on the Dan Patrick Show on Wednesday, and he made some comments that were critical about the 30 for 30 documentary on the Fab Five, which was basically created by Jalen Rose. He was the producer. Chris Webber claimed that Jalen tried to center the whole film around himself rather than the team. So this got back to Jalen Rose, and he sent messages to Larry Brown Sports. Shout out to them for getting this story. This is the quotes from Jalen Rose. One dude traveled, then called timeout. One dude lied to grand jury and hasn't apologized. One dude tried to circumvent the documentary to HBO. One dude ignored multiple requests from everyone involved after agreeing to participate. One dude played like President Obama and sat in the suite during Michigan's recent title game. One dude slandered Ed Martin after all he did for him and his family. One dude is not in contact with the other four, which is all good. One dude has been doing a rebuttal doc for 4 years. One dude clearly is delusional and still in denial. Congrats on your amazing success. Respect had no price. Man up. He told him to man up. Yo! Yeah, we got to have that in the background while we talk about this. So what do you guys think about those comments?
What is there to think? The music is being played.
Yo, he put them hands on Webber.
Like records
verbally, yo. Like, Webber, leave him alone, man. Webber's not going to win this.
Yo, this is akin to Webber threw a jab and Jalen let the hands go. Or Webber fired a shot and Jalen went all Pearl Harbor on his ass. Like, this was the most Jalen has ever spoke about Chris Webber in public. Let's, tell him how you really feel. Jalen, this is the stuff that he's been holding back for all of these years. But what do you guys think about, this was, this was like
all Chris
our late middle school, early high school years. This was the Fab Five, man. What do y'all think about these dudes beefing like this?
I think, honestly, I don't think Chris Webber has been the same person since that timeout. Just bottom line.
That timeout changed his psyche.
It changed his life. I think he may have won a couple chips if he ain't that ain't happened. Weber. First off, Weber is terrible on TV. He gotta chill. He needs to go in studio. During the games,
go make beats, cuz.
Go
make beats.
He's not gonna win this one, man, because Jalen didn't sharpen his sword over the last several years within the media. So he's actually become a great communicator. When he started, he was terrible, but he worked on his craft, and now, he just went in on Webber.
Yeah.
Weber's not gonna win this, man. Just stop. Because the fact of the matter is, if you felt that way and you were given opportunities to rebut anything in the movie or give your perspective, and you just didn't show, and you supposed to have been making a doc for years, why even say? You should have just avoided the question.
And Jimmy, he also tried to say that they only gave him a week's notice before the documentary, and then not even Jalen, other members of the Fab Five basically said FOH with that because we all got the same email because they were all included on the email.
Yeah.
So it was like Webb tried to, he's trying to shift the empathy to his side, and it's not really working.
First off, you lied with Big Money Ed when everybody knew you was lying. They knew you were lying.
Yo, you lied on Big. You snitched. Here's the problem, man. Yo, Webber, all of this, no matter what Jalen says, and no matter what Jalen does, in my eyes, he's on the side of righteousness because Webber has behaved like a female since he called timeout. And all of this would have been solved if you just went and had a conversation with your brothers that loved you. But instead, you always felt deep down in your soul that you didn't belong, because you are kind of like that dude that Jalen was talking about when he was aiming shots at Grant Hill. You a suburban kid. You are outcast, and you don't believe in yourself.
So we saying we invited you to the hood. They're like, Prodigy.
We invited you to
They invited Chris Webber to the hood.
Yeah, they invited
he was
you
really
to
a
the
Grant
hood.
dude. We invited you to the hood.
And then he went real extra with it. That's a part. I'm telling you, that plays a factor in all of this, man. Webber is an actor. And Jalen kind of, and the rest of the Fab Five have protected him for years because the love was genuine. But he's turned, that timeout, like Jimmy said, man, that timeout was life. It was soul altering. And it eats at that dude, man. He can't look himself in the mirror, and he hasn't rectified things with himself, so he can't rectify it with other people. He's not at peace with himself.
Dog, but I mean, even outside of this, like his behavior, you can't lie about that. We saw all of them together, and you off to the side. Like, we saw that. Like, so come on, man. Like, y'all was supposed
so like
to
you
be
know
brothers.
who it is. We know who it is.
Yeah, y'all was supposed to be brothers. But anyway,
no doubt.
Yeah, man. So, shout out to Jalen, man, because he just gave that boy some bars, man. Like, I don't know how you come back from that, man. Webber just going to have to steal him, that's all. That's one of them Jones where somebody say something so slick, like, all I could do now is just, hit you.
Yeah, there's nothing left. But, he embarrassed you so much, you just got to punch him. Like, you got to get childish with it. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about that situation because, it might be a rebuttal coming from Webber, so we might get some more. And we also wanted to talk a little bit about the whole Brittany Griner thing, but we're going to have to do that another time because I can see us getting into another 30-minute conversation about that. So we're either going to do that next week.
I can see us getting kicked off the air.
Do something on War Room Sports TV about that. Stat of the week real quick before Jimmy takes us into this basketball talk and we get Tobias back on the line for his Chicago Bulls rant. Our stat is it's really not about stats. It's more about numbers as far as money is concerned. We talked about the whole Deflategate thing, but fans, we're assuming Patriots fans, started a GoFundMe page to pay the Patriots $1 million Deflategate fine for an owner who's worth over $4.3 billion. That's billion with a B. So this is stat of the week. This is JoJo Award. This is Richard Ridery in the biggest and purest form. I mean, the last time I checked, they had only raised a little over $1,000, but that was
that's too much.
Dog,
But that's too much.
If you get $5 that you are officially a Nikita Koloff.
I apologize. I apologize, but I gotta say what it really is. Get off the Patriots' dick. Real talk. That is.
My thing is this, right?
That is the worst.
We all have our favorite teams, right? But some people take their sports way. This comes from a guy who's part of a sports media company, but y'all gotta chill. Y'all need fathers or something. Come on, man. Stop Koloffing. Seriously? Really?
Dignity. Dignity is at an all-time low in humanity. Humans don't have dignity. They don't know what it is.
When the last time Robert Kraft bought something for them? When the last time you went to a Patriots game for free? Come on, man. Seriously. I'm diehard for the teams that I root for, but it will never get to this level.
They got to stop.
You get in trouble, you're getting out of trouble yourself. Come on, man. I crave to have the type of money they have. Yeah, it's the society we live in, man. It's the norm now. So
anyway, man.
B, tell everybody real quick how to get in touch with us and let's talk some basketball, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get over that, man. That's incredible. I don't understand, man. I don't understand. Send that money to me. I need it. Anyway, check out our website, warroomsports.com. Call in and speak with us about any of today's topics, but not that one. We can't talk about that anymore. Dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1. It's like raising your hand in the class, and we'll call on you.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about the NBA Wrap, and the NBA Wrap is brought to you by Fanatics. For the best in your favorite team's merchandise and apparel, shop Fanatics. That's the easy thing to do. Go to our website at warroomsports.com and click on that Fanatics logo. It's right on our main page. It is also on our sponsor page. You can get the latest in NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, and NCAA gear. You can get you a Tom Brady jersey. You can support the Free Tom Brady movement, Free Tom Brady, Free Mumia, Free Wilson Fisk, and all other political prisoners. Anyway, guess right, Tom Brady is a political prisoner right now, man. Belichick got off. We're going to jump right into these series. Before we do, I just want to say that Coach Monty Williams got fired by the Pelicans. Fly, Pelicans, fly. Is that fair or foul?
Foul.
How you get fired on your day off? Why you think it's foul, B?
I don't know, because he's a black guy coaching in the league.
I was waiting for it. Yo, my man B. also said hashtag Black Lives Matter, man. That's why. Anyway.
I feel you, because really, when you asked me the question, I'm sorry, go ahead, B. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't know that it was foul. I just said that.
They made the
I haven't honestly thought about it that much. He seemed like a decent coach. Nothing that he did stood out to me greatly. They did make the playoffs, but I feel like they made the playoffs because they have talent-wise, they have a very good team. So one could argue that they underachieve.
I mean, do they?
One
really?
could argue.
I mean, they got Anthony Davis. A lot of them dudes, man.
They got a lot of injuries.
But here's my question.
They were injured. They were injured a lot.
They fought a lot of injuries, and he still got them there. My thing is this: I don't know, have they hired anybody else yet? Because to me, that'll be telling. Like if you bring in a big name coach, like I'm gonna use B. Austin's homie. Let's just say they like woo Larry Brown from SMU, and they bring in like a Larry Brown or someone who has a reputation and has won in this league. Then you really can't say anything about it. But if you fire him and you just bring in somebody random to coach, like whoever, Joe Blow. But then it's like, what are you really doing?
They tried.
Nickelberry.
The rumors were that they tried to go on after Calipari, but he just read up again. So that's not going to happen. So they are going to have to just And then another rumor is they mess around and get Tom Thibodeau after the Bulls get rid of him.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you pull a move like that, then I mean, who like we really can't say anything. But I think that'll be telling. Okay. Like, if you figure like I'm going all out to spend this chicken, I can't really say anything about that. Anyway,
real quick, Jim. Real quick before you get to bias again, because I know I just defended Monty Williams by saying they had a lot of injuries, but I'd watched a lot of New Orleans Pelicans games this season, and I found myself a lot like talking and screaming at the TV, asking him what the hell he was doing. So when you guys say he wasn't that, he seemed like a decent coach, I really don't think he was that good of a coach. But the timing seems peculiar because they did just make the playoffs for the first time since like year one of his 5 years. So it seems that way, but it's like you guys said, there was a chance we're going to make the playoffs just because of the talent level of our superstar, for one, and just a little bit that he does have talent around him. There's a lot of young talent.
They can really get Calipari with Anthony Davis there too.
The question,
Monty Williams, he does some stuff where I'm like, yo, what the hell is he doing? So I don't know if that's why they fired him, but
say that you black. If you say that you black, we question your blackness.
Yo, anyway, real quick, let's move on. The first series we want to talk about is Chicago Bulls facing the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavaliers to take control of the series. Let's just get Tobias on before we even get into our analysis of the series. Phil, we'll be right with you in a minute, Phil, but we got Tobias who has to say something about his Bulls. He's been waiting for over an hour now, so let's get Tobias back on. Tobias, you there?
Yeah, I'm finna jump off a bridge after tonight.
You got it. You got the floor.
Hey, all I got to say is, where do I start? First, Tom Thibodeau's a boob. I'm like, good gracious. Wow. All right, let's get this straight. All right, I know they got some injuries, and y'all know I wanted Melo over Powell to start anyway, but Powell been playing good. Dude, you gotta trust some of these players. There's no way in the world you keep trotting Kirk Heinrich out there. He's like the only white guard in NBA history who doesn't even be guarded on purpose. I'm sorry. Let's just be honest here. I'm like, dude, and you remember every year I said Joakim Noah is trash, he's overrated, and people start riding his Richard. What is he doing? He can't hit the broad side of a backboard right now. Taj Gibson think he's making his Tim Duncan stink face every time he doesn't get a foul, but it takes him 10 seconds to make a move and go up and take a shot. But here's the problem. You look at the offense. You don't have a big man to throw it into. You have trouble scoring. Why in the blue hell are you still running this 1990 Knicks versus Heat offense? Run. Push the ball. You got Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler who are as athletic as any backcourt in the game. Why aren't you running and trying to get easy baskets when you know Joakim Noah can't even throw the ball in a Pacific Ocean and he's standing in it? Let's just be honest here. But the problem is with Thibodeau is he doesn't adjust. He wants to be right instead of being flexible and doing the right thing. His way ain't working. And don't get me wrong, I know Derrick takes some bad threes, but he played well. Jimmy Butler has done everything he could. Speaking of Jimmy Butler, you watched that last game. He got 2 fouls to LeBron. Instead of letting Tony Snell or somebody, hey, give him a blow, you put Jimmy Butler back on LeBron with 2 fouls. What in the hell is he supposed to do?
Jimmy Butler is his father. But hold on, though. Jimmy Butler, you're right. Derrick Rose has taken some questionable shots. Jimmy Butler has, really emerged as a big-time player that to the point where a lot of teams going to make him some full, max offers in this. I want to see what happens, whether you guys can keep him.
He's going to get some bread.
Yeah.
Tobias, Jimmy is subliminally taking a shot at you because he knows his Lakers is going after Jimmy Butler.
Hey, you know what, though? Like, I listened to Cal Hurd. Cal Hurd thinks Derrick Rose peeing his Cheerios this morning. He kills the guy. And I'm like, hey, now do I think Derrick Rose's biggest issue is that he's not aggressive enough. I'm like, dude, you are unstoppable when you drive to the basket. No one can stand in front of you. What does he do? Shoot threes.
The man has had bionic knee reconstruction surgery 7 times.
He afraid of that contact, but
he don't want to get hurt, man.
Hey, he got hurt one time making a backdoor cut against Portland. Hey, he don't get hurt doing layups or going to the hole. He got hurt against Philly doing just doing a jump in the air, making a pass.
But doesn't matter how you get hurt. Having that confidence to go in between those trees, so to speak, is crazy when you're coming off an injury like that, regardless of how you got that injury. But it's funny, Tobias, hear you say that, man, because you called us a couple weeks ago talking about when y'all was going to the finals and all that. Like you did a 180 on your team, man. I just want you to know that.
I said if Derrick Rose was healthy and aggressive also. And also, hey, I didn't think Pau Gasol would get hurt, and I didn't think Joakim Noah would wet the bed like this so bad he need the pants that night. Just keep it real. The problem is that I believe the way that they play. And I believe that's why Thibodeau might have to go because he don't even listen to the front office. How you going to tell your boss to kick rocks? And John Paxson has won championships. He has played in the highest levels with Michael Jordan. You think he might have some input about something? He's not telling you to do your job, but your boss give you suggestions. And I just believe that, hey, the players love him. They play hard for him. But it may be like a Mark Jackson situation in Golden State where this guy could only go so far, and maybe the next guy may use a talent differently and go in a different direction, Right. Mm-hmm. And I'll say this before I go. A couple years ago, because I get yelled at on message board by these delusional Bulls fans who just cheer everybody because the Bulls are a fan. And I say, look, that was a couple years. Remember LaMarcus Aldridge wanted out of Portland, and he wanted to go to Chicago, but they wanted Joakim Noah. Yeah. I'm like, dude, make the deal. I'm like, make the deal then. The Denver Nuggets would have given us Carmelo, and they gave up Noah. Make the deal. I don't care if Melo leaves next year. You got to make the deal. But thanks for taking my call. And if and when we lose tonight, and LeBron is still a punk anyway, But anyway, y'all take it easy.
Hit us up next week because we'll know by then whether y'all in the Eastern Finals or y'all home.
I don't want to know, man. Hey, I'll let y'all know tonight if I'm still alive. Feel like that.
All right. Thanks for your call, man. Damn. Yo, Tobias he called us from the bridge. The funny thing, before he left, I was going to ask him what's going to happen tonight, but he answered that before I got a chance to ask him. He said if and when we lose.
We got the
tonight.
homie on the line as well. I want to chop it up with us real quick. Let's get the homie Phil Maddock of Tissue and the Tape, the Hip Hop Podcast and the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Phil, what's really good?
Give me a T.O., baby, like Chris Webber. I got myself together. Yo. What you think about that, man? The biggest clitoral dude in the business, yo. I can't stand dude. I'm so glad that y'all brought that up because I just want to thank them though for that championship for my North Carolina Tar Heels. So shout out to Chris Webber for that. But he's the soft dude, man. He been soft, and to y'all point, y'all hit it right on the head. Ever since the timeout, it was like demasculation.
Soul been tortured.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But yeah, that and I know y'all play Easter, but that felt more like I was waiting for Jalen Rose to be like, that's why I effed your chick. That's what I was waiting for. I thought
hit him up.
Yeah, he got him. But yeah, man, I got to give a shout out to the boy Tobias, man, because I'm a Bulls fan too. And he touched on a lot of points, specifically Joakim Noah, man. I hope he gets deported after the night. That dude has to roll because he
said deported.
Yeah, man. Put him back to France.
Sending back to France.
No,
but he's hurt.
How everybody turned on Noah now. All the Bulls fans turned on Noah.
But like anybody will tell you, I was never a fan of him because the way the offense is run, like the whole LaMarcus Aldridge thing that Tobias brought up, it's perfect. The way the offense is ran, when you have somebody at the top of the key, they know he's not going to shoot, so they don't even have to cover him. And you lose 5 to 10 seconds of him holding the ball, trying to figure out what he's going to do. That's why they got Powell. That's why the offense works. He's not.
Phil, you know why?
You know,
because he made a couple of good passes last year. So now everybody told him he was a point center and he was such a great passer. So now he's running around holding the ball.
Shots fired.
He's holding the ball at the top of the key, waiting for everybody to cut, and he's trying to make these passes, which are now being picked off, and they look like dumb passes because they're not completed. I tried to tell people last year too that everybody got a little, overboard about Joakim Noah.
For a year to let his hands go on Joakim Noah.
But the thing is this, B. Joakim Noah was the type of dude when he came into the league that I really banged with because I respected his hustle because I was like, he has no talent. Yeah, I was like, he has no talent, but he's making something of himself just by hustling. But then people took it overboard and started calling him an MVP candidate. So then he's no longer the underdog. And I'm telling y'all, all right, just wait. He's going to go back to just that hustle.
Yo, but let's keep it a bean though. Let's keep it a bean. A lot of us love Noah just because of because of the fact that he hated LeBron when everybody was Richard.
Because he want to give LeBron a fair one.
And he disrespected Cleveland. Like we all love him.
If you're going to do that, then give him the fair one.
Y'all know that's my man. Pause.
Give him the Kermit Washington, yo. If it's all like that, to help the team for real. I mean, because he ain't gonna make no shots. But
I say if you down 10 tonight with a minute left, just steal him. You gotta do something. Like just steal him if you really don't like him. Don't stop talking about it.
Go like Rodman, yo. You know what I mean? But yo, I know we're on basketball right now, but I just gotta rewind a little bit something that y'all spoke on earlier. I want to play devil's advocate a little bit about Chip Kelly. I don't think he's a racist, but hear me out. Here's my little theory. Racism is majority based on power, and his big thing is control and power. I think when you have minorities that are subservient, you're cool with that if you're in power and you're in control. But if you have minorities that speak out, you either got to get rid of them. Either you gotta get the sniper out, or you gotta disparage their character. So I think getting out those people in that sense, you could make that claim that he is racist. I don't personally think it, but I see where Shady was particularly going to. I hope.
Well, you know what?
I'm going to try to give
Phil?
him the benefit of the doubt because I like dude. But
I totally understand what you're saying, and what you just said is intelligent and makes sense. But if you think that's where Shady was going, you crazy. Shady ain't half as intelligent as you, and there's no way Shady was thinking what you just said. But if you do a Stephen A. Smith and you call Shady and tell him that, his next interview will say
get in contact
what
with
you
him.
just said. And then he'll get all of us on his side.
Yeah, as long as you get the interview for WRSPN, we cool if you give him the story. I mean, he'll rock with it.
We keep it all in the family like Wu-Tang. But
yeah,
now,
the next time he's in the media, if we hear him say that, then we know he was listening, and you better make sure he cut that check.
Anyway. And then no doubt. And the last thing I want to say about the Pelicans, I think they got rid of Monty Williams for the simple fact the Pelicans are playing defense. They do not want to be the Cleveland Cavaliers of a few years ago that lost a once-in-a-generation type player. They're going to get him everything he needs and wants to keep him there because it's not like New Orleans is like this hotbed of basketball town, where you want to just be there and even if the team sucks. So they need a reason to keep him there. So he's going to get the coach that he wants, within, their whatever they can get out, whatever's out there. I don't see Thibodeau.
Well, Phil, I told you who they tried to hire, right?
Oh yeah,
his coach. They tried to hire Calipari.
Kentucky did it. That.
Yeah, he was the first one on the list, so they tried.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They're doing everything so he doesn't end up in Miami or LA or one of these cities where people actually want to be besides besides the sport that they play. And the Browns already looking like, I already, he got a unibrow. He's still in commercials, like so. He's
LeBron
looking at the big dollars.
So LeBron gonna come be the unibrow young boy?
LeBron will come to New Orleans if they lose this year.
Oh yeah, LeBron gonna opt out regardless. Whether they could chip up and he's still gonna opt out just to put the pressure on Dan Gilbert. Be like, told you needed me, and then
Yeah, that's true. LeBron, the whole league is LeBron Youngboy though. It'll be awesome. So like, Anthony Davis might go to Cleveland.
And the other thing is that money is there for that big contract or the big TV deal that's coming in next year. So he's definitely going to opt out so he can
get more of that chicken. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. Anyway, Phil, man, thanks for the call as always, good brother. We'll have the people listen to you this up and coming weekend for your, most recent show. But shout out to everybody for Tissue and the Tape.
No doubt.
Y'all
I want to say Viva La Bulls, man. We gonna shock the world and only lose like a good normal team instead of these droughts that we having. So yeah,
we'll see what happens, man. Anyway, man, thanks for the call, good brother. Tissue and the Tape. We'll holler at you.
No doubt. Respect the holders.
Fellas, what's with all the the playoffs have been, there's a lot of moments in the playoffs that you're like, oh God, here we go again. And a lot of the playoffs, even in the good games, it shows you that how horrendous the Eastern Conference really is. Because if you look at the people who are on the brink of actually having a chance to go to the finals, you see Atlanta, even Washington. It's like the Eastern Conference not really taking a shot at those teams, but they don't wow you, and they're on the brink, possibly at least going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yo, I told y'all, I forget that series is even going on.
The funny thing with the Atlanta-Washington series?
Yeah, like I'll be looking at Chicago and Cleveland like they're playing to go to the finals. I'll be forgetting they have to beat somebody else.
The funny thing is, though, and I know you say it tongue in cheek, but shoot, as far as games go, Washington-Atlanta probably is the best series going on right now.
Their
games
most competitive,
are crazy. They've had, and that's what I wanted to talk about, buzzer beaters. They've had back-to-back buzzer beaters. The Chicago Cleveland series had back-to-back buzzer beaters too. You had the bank shot from Derrick Rose, and then the next game you had the shot from LeBron that almost didn't happen because David Blatt tried to get him to inbound the ball with 1.5 seconds left, so he probably won't be there next year. And in the Atlanta series, you had back-to-back. You had Paul Pierce smacking one. And then even this last game, you had Paul Pierce making one with 8 seconds left on the clock, but Horford got the tip in almost at the buzzer, and ended up beating the Wizards on that one. So Atlanta's had some pretty close calls because Washington has pretty much outplayed them, in my opinion, through most of the series. But late in games, Atlanta seems to keep making that run. They almost came back the game before. And this game, they actually came back from a 9-point deficit late in the game and actually won the game. So it's like Washington outplays them and then slows down in the latter part of the game. And one of the 2 games where that happened, it ended up coming back to bite them. So, the playoffs, they're heating up, man. It's been some exciting games maybe the last week in both conferences.
Yo, I got a question.
I'm gonna keep it a bean. I still don't even care about Wizards in Atlanta, yo. The NBA, the NBA needs star power, man. Like, cause I'm one of these guys that like, I'm gonna keep it way honest right now. Like, even when the Spurs win, like sometimes I zone out. Like, I'll watch the game, but I'll be somewhere else mentally, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
crazy. I love watching.
I'm keeping it a bean. Like when I be watching the Bulls and Cleveland go at it, man, it's just so exciting with, like, the stars going back and forth with each other. And even when you watch Golden State and you see Steph out there doing stuff that you're just like, yo, why is Steph out there doing that stuff? It's just, the NBA is a star-driven league, and that's so real. Like, even someone who's a purist and loves the actual art of the game.
Speaking of that, how is Tony Allen's loss going to impact that Grizzlies Warriors series?
Oh my God!
I think the light-skinned brothers are so excited.
It's already done that. As soon as Tony Allen comes out, like, they were energized. Klay Thompson has a better game than he's been having.
I think it's over.
He's been putting the locks on Klay Thompson. If he doesn't play,
they got it.
Then they really don't have a chance. They really don't.
I think it's over.
Yo, they got excited. They got excited like, yes, we got the field brother out of the house. We are good. Back to the cotton field.
It's over. Like, to me, that right there is like, that's it. That's it. And it's sad because, like, you look at, everybody has injuries at this point. You saw Kyrie Irving out there, like, limping around.
Yeah, he was limping.
Crazy.
Yo, he was running like he had he looked like he had to take a mean grumpy or something. Like, he didn't even look like himself. But, like Jimmy said, star power sometimes prevails because he still put up 25.
Yeah, man, but, like, you look at Conley going down and how that affected their team in the beginning of the series, and
Powell
going down. It's a lot.
When he went down, that series changed. When Powell went down.
Yeah.
No, keep it a bean. The Cavs can't beat the Bulls if Powell is healthy.
Yeah, but also now suppose you give Cleveland Kevin Love, though. Kevin Love's also hurt. There's a lot of significant players going down.
Kevin Love was hurt, and they started the 2 games without J.R. Smith, so the Bulls don't really have an excuse.
Yeah, they really don't.
And shout out to LeBron for last game because, he hears things. Because everybody was talking about how they were struggling in the series because LeBron was playing more of a Kobe-type game where he was getting numbers, getting buckets, but he wasn't being really efficient.
So
he goes out the last game, scores like 38, 39 points on like 75% shooting and like 12 rebounds and 6 assists.
Not only that,
the efficiency rating of that game was crazy.
If you're the Bulls, the game before where Kyrie and LeBron both struggle, and you still lose,
you got to win that.
Yo, that's what I'm saying right there. That's a tough one because LeBron's not going to struggle like that every game. So
opportunity,
you have to
man.
win that game.
Take it. Opportunity.
Yeah, man. That was their mom spaghetti moment, and they blew it, man.
Right.
Anyway, it's time.
So they have another one tonight. So what do y'all think? Y'all think before we get out of here, y'all think the Bulls are going to stretch it tonight? Think they're going to add it to Game 7?
I initially thought it would go 7. You know what? It is going to go 7. The league's going to make sure it goes 7. I'm all about the conspiracy. Although Dev's going to be beat today with the conspiracies. Anyway, man, thanks for joining us again in the War Room, good people. Shout out to everybody in the chat room on Facebook and Twitter, all the calls who called in. We definitely appreciate it. Those we didn't get to, we apologize. A lot of stories to talk about today. Tune in next time. Same time, same place. We'll be right here next week talking about the NBA Conference Finals. And also, remember, we're always on demand on the WRS Podcast Network. So until then, enjoy your week. We'll see you right back here. Be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook and Twitter. That's at War Room Sports. All of our blogs, our webcasts, and every network show can be found on warroomsports.com. Everything, warroomsports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we shall see you chumps on top.
On top.
6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like Magic in the box course. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip-hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, DJ, Jack Beck, B. Austin. I'm Jack. Up and coming on the beat.
Yo, this is Dev of War Room Sports. This was our 254th episode, so we want to give a shout-out to Central High, Philadelphia, class of 254, the greatest class in the history of Central High. Shout-out to y'all. 254 is in the house. 20 years.
War Room Sports. www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.